Hello YouTube, this is Zach. Man, y'all are hitting me with some stuff. Last video was Iron Mouse, and that was a VTuber. It's the first time I've ever analyzed a VTuber. And now I'm analyzing Otto. And the thing is, this is similar to the Iron Mouse analysis in that I can't see her face. This is going to be behind a silhouette. Andrew, one of my patrons, recommended this to me. So thank you, Andrew, for being my patron. I can't really thoroughly analyze someone if I can't fully see them. So I'm giving a little caveat here. This analysis might not be perfect because I can't see it. It's like when I analyze live concerts and one of the cameras like shifts away from the singer's face. Well, I have to base my analysis on what I can see and what I can hear. And if I can't see, I have to just base everything on what I hear. So results may vary. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is Usseewa by Otto. Let's do it. And this is in one take, apparently, so that's awesome. That's already awesome by default. Any one-take performances I'm always a fan of. Let's see what we got. It's building the suspense. Okay, let's do it. Pretty aggressive. Okay, okay, there's a lot to think about here. There's a lot to process. So first things first, I feel like I talk about this topic in every video, so I'm like a broken record, but I'm going to bring it up here anyway because I think it's really relevant. She has excellent legato. Legato, as I've explained in many videos before, is the ability to connect a line of sound together. Now, I do not know Japanese, so I don't know how closely correlated Japanese people speak to how they sing. I mean, I've heard the Japanese language. I'm a nerd. I love video games, mostly Japanese video games, and I've watched some anime and things like that. So I've heard Japanese being spoken plenty of times, but I don't really know the phonetic rules and, you know, the way the syntax works and how lines of speaking are connected together. But I can hear by what she's doing when she sings that her legato is excellent. And I give you some examples, you know, if I go back a bit. But if you listen to the sound, you can hear how there's a connected line of vocalization between each word. So let me go back. I think that the line was maybe it was here. I think let me see. Yeah. Those entire phrases are very well connected together. There were a couple of times where she would deliberately stop and, you know, restart the line, but in between each little stop, you can hear there's a singular line of sound. All the line is completely connected together. It's very fluid, and that gives the singing a perception of communicative. Like, it makes it sound more communicative because, and I've used this demonstration many times, and I'll do it here too for all the people who've never seen me before. When we speak and I make a sentence and I talk, you know, you can hear how all of my words flow together. But if I start talking like this, all of a sudden it sounds strange and disconnected, right? So you lose this fluidity of communication when it's jagged. So it's very commonly correlated to that in singing as well, where people will sing toward the idea of creating a line so that it sounds more like speech, so that it sounds more communicative. You know, and so I could definitely hear solid, consistent legato in her singing sound. I really like her timbre. It's dark and it's rich, but it sounds very speech-like. It doesn't sound particularly haughty. It doesn't sound operatic or classical or anything like that, which, I mean, I'm an opera trained singer. I'm a classical teacher. So, I mean, I'm always kind of thinking in that framework. But what I like about her sound is that it's very, communicative. It sounds very speech-like, but it's pleasant. It doesn't sound abrasive. When I first heard the beginning of it, I was like, okay, well, this is going off with a bang. Like, she's, you know, this is rough stuff. But I think that in this particular verse, she's done a really good job making it sound pleasant and communicative while, like, kind of aggressive and has a lot of forward motion, but she keeps the line intact when she sings. It's really nice. Yeah, all these lines, great legato, just really nice. I like the little flip ups into the head voice, like on those little moments you can hear it kind of does this very slight. I would the closest, and this is I'm not saying this is what she's doing, but the closest comparison I can give to it is almost like how yodelers will kind of do that sort of thing. You can hear in this little line right here that she just sung how she does these tiny little flip ups into her head voice. It's pretty a sign of good control. Like listen to it again, how you hear these little flips right here, right there. Yeah, that's like an example of her really quickly flipping up into her head voice. What I find interesting about the sound is that she's got such a low natural kind of fundamental baseline of pitch, like she's kind of in the more alto range here, that head voice, she's moving into it in a range that you would typically hear singers still being in their chest voice, and I'm sure that she can sing it in her chest voice there, but her range is so kind of naturally low that she has this ability to move into that head voice at a lower than normal pitch for most people. So it gives it this kind of interesting darker quality on her head voice that you don't hear from a lot of singers. I love her sense of melody. And I mean, the melody's written by the composer of the song, right? But what I mean by that is I love how her voice deftly navigates these melodies, and it sounds like all of her rhythmic accents fit so well into shaping the musical concept of the melody. It's really nice. And that's kind of a subjective thing. Like there's no objective measurement I can give to that, but ultimately it sounds like she's singing, like she's weaving her voice into the melody. It gives it this really deft but fluid sound, and that's so far the biggest hallmark of her sound that I like is it's so fluid sounding. It's just really nice, very pleasant to hear. So I'm a little reticent to stop it so soon, but there's so much to go through here. So if you're a vocal nerd like me, you might be very interested in watching my recent interview with Dr. Aaron Lowe from the Voice Clinic, where he talks a little bit about, he kind of defines and talks about the idea of vocal compression a little bit. Used a bunch of different ways. So what is compression? Please clarify. What is compression? Cool. And through talking to him, I learned that some of the sounds that you hear are byproducts of the vocal tract, which is like the tube that all the sound runs through. There are some sounds that can be made by that vocal tract kind of squeezing inward and compressing itself inward. And an example of that, I think, would be, let me see if I can get to it. That sounds like that when she kind of screams a little bit, but you can also hear how the voice kind of does this kind of sound. That's a sign of the vocal tract compressing. So that's an idea of vocal compression. It's really interesting to hear it now that I've got a pretty clear definition of it. She does that sound in her voice pretty consistently. Gosh, there's so much to analyze here. I feel like her voice is doing so many things. Like it's so busy, not in a bad way, but there's so many techniques and so many things going on that I can't really pick one thing to focus on. There's so much. I don't want to talk you guys to death, but even in that little chorus, she does this flipping in and out of the head voice thing again, where again, like I said before, the head voice is a little bit lower seated than a lot of people. So it gives it this like very dark timbre to the head voice. Man, she's doing a lot. I always have this like conflict in my head because people tell me I talk too much, right? So like I have this conflict in my head of like how can I fit all this stuff in? But she's doing so many different types of techniques that I don't really know which ones to prioritize. There's so much going on. She's great. She's great. There's the head voice thing. Wow. Wow, gosh, she's like a vocal tour de force. She does a little bit of everything. I mean, my goodness, this is one take. I mean, that's crazy. I don't typically find myself at a loss for words. Like I said, I tend to get told that I talk too much, but there's so much going on here that I can't really focus my ear on one thing and say that like this is a hallmark of her technique. Obviously her intonation is very good. I don't know if this is tuned or not. Like I can't tell. I don't know. It's single take, so that by itself is enough to show how consistent her voice is. And you know what? You know who she kind of makes me think about a little bit? Not in terms of the range and not in terms of the sound of the voice, but this acrobatic kind of approach is very Mike Patton-esque. It kind of like moving in and out of the screaming sound, the rough, ragged kind of sound with the like beautiful melodic sound and the legato, and just always having this constantly forward motion and forward momentum in the sound and the voice makes me think a lot of Mike Patton. I mean, and Mike Patton is one of my favorite vocalists ever because of how just versatile he is. I get that impression here from Otto. And I know that's not really saying anything specific about her technique, but one of the things that makes Mike Patton such a unique singer and so distinctive is that he kind of just broke all the rules and made it work. And I get that same kind of impression from Otto, that she's not really confining herself to any specific type of sound or vocalization or technique. She's just kind of letting it rip and going for it. I mean, it's killer. This is awesome. Yeah, like that huge change from that just to like really soft dynamic where she's kind of taking some of the sound off of the voice. Like listen to that drastic change. Like it's crazy. Listen to this. Like come on, like in classical music, a lot of times we'll call that kind of motion like a sforzando, where you have this really big sound going dialing back, like oh. And it goes back to like this, like a sforzando kind of thing is what we'll call that. I mean, goodness. What's crazy about it is that it's doing this harsh, rough sound, and then it's this very delicate, soft, gentle, not whispery, but like quiet, soft dynamic, and it's a drastic change. The amount of control over the amount of air pressure that you use to do that is ridiculous. I mean, my goodness. Legato. Legato. So much legato. She is very angry. This is ridiculous in a good way. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Wow, what a powerhouse. Man, like what training has she had? Like what is her background? This is insane. Like it's so versatile. It's such a diverse skill set of sounds that she moves so it's so deft. Her movement of this stuff is just so deft. Like, my gosh, she's insane. Yeah, and so the way that she's singing this chorus now, she's already done this before, and it was much more aggressive. But even the way that she's singing the chorus this time is almost more structured, and it sounds more stable. It doesn't have that wild kind of frenetic back and forth kind of like yodeling thing going on. It's very stable sounding now. So she's made this deliberate choice to recapitulate the chorus with more vocal stability. So that shows that all of the other times that she's been doing all this wild and crazy stuff, as chaotic as it might sound, she's been completely under control of all this. She's been controlling all of it. And I think that that shows a degree of skill that is incredible when you can make something sound chaotic, but it's actually just total control of the voice. That's amazing. The more I hear, the more I'm thinking Mike Patton. Like this is like the girl version of Mike Patton. I mean, this is killer. Keychain. Hey. Oh, that squeeze. Wow, man. That was crazy. I'm gonna have to listen to this again on my own, like, you know, off camera, because there's so much to this. Like, I love when she did that scream and you could hear that squeeze sound, like she was closing up the vocal tract intentionally, and she went back to the chorus again with that really aggressive sound, which was a contrast from the way that she did it right beforehand, where she made it sound more stable. Going back to that notion of like she's showing this incredible amount of vocal control. I mean, this is phenomenal, man. I've been doing some bangers lately. Like I had Iron Mouse last time, and she was amazing given all the you know, the conditions surrounding her singing. Like I've gotten to talk about this. I mean, this is back to back, just some killer performances. And what's interesting to me is that her voice is so refined and it's so well controlled, and she's developed so much of her own technique that I don't have to see her face to be able to hear some of the things that she's doing. Phenomenal stuff. I will be revisiting her content for sure, no doubt. This was awesome. Thank you, Andrew, for the recommendation. Patrons, like, keep sending them. If you want to give me a request, you know, sign up on my Patreon. Quick plug for myself. I'm working on trying to raise the funding to go to the Summer Vocalogy Institute at the University of Utah, so I can learn more about voice science and have a better, more in-depth understanding of this kind of stuff, and be able to maybe give you guys some greater insight on kind of the vocal motions that she's doing. I mean, like, these types of singers they're freaks. Like, they're freaks of nature. They can do things that most people can't do. Like I said, Mike Patton comes to mind. Like, just the ability to do these things that most human beings, like mere mortals like myself, can't even begin to do. And to be able to control it and be so consistent and so in tune. So my passion in my life is to learn about these types of things. So I'm trying to go to this Vocalogy Institute so that, you know, I can gain more knowledge of the really in-depth science of the voice. So if you appreciate what I do and you're interested in helping me out to get there, the link for the GoFundMe is going to be in the description. Please like and subscribe to this channel. I have a Discord server. Come on in. I give voice lessons. I have offered free vocal assessments to all incoming new students. But yeah, thanks for this recommendation. I hope you all enjoyed my analysis of this. What a performance. I'm kind of blown away, guys. So thank you so much. I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.